Hi, this is Will from the itstuff.com, and as I mentioned in my introduction video that the first series on the itstuff.com is going to be an introduction to PHP. In this series we'll learn the basics of PHP and we'll also walk through some of the more important and advanced concepts of PHP such as sessions, cookies and so on. We'll also learn the security steps that one needs to take to protect the application from the most common attacks on the internet such as SQL injections, cross-site scripting attack and so on. And we'll all do this by creating a very nice web application which is going to be a content management system, and this system will have the front end and the back end. The front end will be a blog where we can read the articles, where we can read all the posts that the blog has, and we'll also be able to comment on the blog. And then we'll have the back end. From backend we can control the application. With the backend we'll have the ability to create a post, we'll have the ability to delete a post, we can also edit a post, and there can also be some other users, so they can also write a post, they can write a comment, they can approve or disapprove the others' comments, and we'll also have the moderator or administrator who can even approve the articles or the posts that were done by others. So if somebody creates an article, then before it goes live on the blog, it is stopped and it goes under moderation, so that the administrator can review it and can perform certain actions. If he dislikes it, he can delete it. If he dislikes a part of the article, he can modify it, and if he wants, he can approve it if it is good to go. We will also be able to delete comments, we'll also be able to approve comments. We'll also have the security features in the blog. So for example, we'll make sure that each form we have in the blog is actually an SQL injection protected form, and the hacker cannot do cross-site scripting attack, which are also very common on the internet. And we'll also make sure that the user has the information of the login in his account. We'll all do this after getting the information of the user, such as the IP address. When he logs in, we'll save the IP address of the user and we'll give it to the user, so that when he logs in, he can check all the activities and he can immediately recognize an unexpected activity and he can take actions against it. But first, we'll learn the basics. So let's get started. So in this video, I'm going to talk about what PHP is and how PHP works. I'll also cover a little history of PHP. So PHP is a server-side scripting language, and it was developed in 1994 by Rasmus Lerdorf. It initially stood for Personal Homepage, but today the PHP stands for PHP Hypertext Processor. And as I mentioned that the PHP is a server-side scripting language, so what it means by a server-side scripting language? A server-side scripting language is a programming language that runs on server. The code never sends to the browser, to the client. When a browser requests the server, the request is received by the server, and it processes the request, it processes the information, and then the results is sent to the browser in the form of HTML. So the actual code is never sent to the browser. So this is what the server-side scripting language means. It always runs on the server. The code never runs on the browser. Okay, so but I know that this might be tricky for some of you, so we'll take a look at an example and we'll create a simple web page, and we'll then we'll also use the basic PHP code as an example. So it will clear things for you. So let's jump back to my laptop and see how PHP works and how we can create a very simple web page in PHP. So as you can see here that we have a simple web page where we have a heading called welcome user and we have some text in it. And when we look at the code of this page, all we have is the simple HTML. We have nothing complex going on here. We have simple HTML template, we have a heading, we have a title first of all, we have a font that we are receiving from Google Text, Google Fonts, and we have some stylings, and we have then a starting body, we have a heading in the body, and we have a paragraph. So this is very simple. There is nothing complex going on. What we are going to do here is, and we'll look at it, it's just simple, very simple. So what we are going to do here, we are going to just do some PHP thing here. We'll do this. As you can see that we have welcome user. We can have a different username here, and that username will be saved in a variable, in a PHP variable, and then we use that variable to print the username, which is great. So now to write a variable, to first of all write PHP code in the PHP template, we first of all open the PHP tag, and the way we do it is by typing the less than character and then question mark and PHP, and here we are going to write some PHP code, and then we'll end it. We'll end the tag, we'll close the tag, and to close the tag we'll write the question mark and the greater than sign, and that's it. So whatever is going to be inside of it has to be the PHP code, right? It has to be a PHP code. So now we'll create the variable here, and we'll assign the value to the variable. And don't get confused about the variables. We'll have the separate video for more information on the variable. So don't focus much on the variable. Just see that how PHP works. So to run the PHP, we have to start the PHP tag and end it, and then whatever is inside this PHP tag has to be the PHP code. So to create the variable, we will create a variable, we'll call it user, and we'll assign the value to it. But see first, so as the initial information, just remember that in PHP the variable starts with a $sign, right? It has to start with a $sign, and then we have the name of the variable. And we'll have more information on the variable in a separate video. Don't worry about it now. And then we'll store some information, some data into this variable, and we can store multiple types of data into it. But for now we are going to just store a simple string, and to store a string into a variable we have to write this string into the double quotes, right? So we'll write a string, we'll write a username here, let's say I type my name, Suhail, and then this is done. This statement is done, and to close the statement we type semicolon, right? So we type semicolon, and that's it. So this is we have created a variable called user, and we have assigned it a value, a string value, Suhail, and that's it. So we'll now print this variable user at the place of this user, and we'll do this again by opening the PHP tag and then closing the PHP tag, and we'll write the PHP code. Now remember that whenever we want to print something to the user, we use the tag, we use the function called echo, and then we say the string, whatever we want to print. In this case I want to print user. So now as you can see here, it's very simple. What we have done is we have created the variable. We have first of all started the PHP tag, and we have closed it, and then inside it we have written a PHP, we have created a PHP variable, and we have assigned it a value with the data type of string, okay, and we have closed the statement. We have entered this statement. So and in here we are echoing out the string, the user name. So let's now see that what we get on the front end. When refreshing the page gives us the username. So as you can see here now that we have Suhail. So now we have some PHP code in it. It is not a complete, a pure, the HTML, but we have the PHP code in it. But remember that whatever we are getting here is not PHP. It is simple, HTML. So to confirm it, right click and click on the view page source. And now see that we are getting Suhail here. We do not have the PHP tags here. All we have is the Suhail, the username, and you can't even see that those variable that we created here, and we assigned the value Suhail. We have simply this Suhail printed out in front of this welcome inside the h1 tag. So this is how PHP works, and later on, after we have dragged it out from the from the variable, we can now style it. We can use JavaScript to style it, to modify it. But we have done we have written PHP, a simple PHP code, and it's working just fine. So this is how PHP works. Now the good thing of the variable is we don't have to change this variable anywhere. So if, for example, if we have to use this variable so many places, then we can simply use the variable inside the PHP tag and say user, and then we can create some more PHP tag, some more lorem ipsum, and so and now we can also again acquire the username, and now save it, and now reload this page. And as you can see, now we have Suhail here and we have Suhail here. So now and we have Suhail here. So what if we want to change the Suhail? What we will do now is instead of changing instead of changing the Suhail everywhere, we'll just change the Suhail at one place. So we'll say, not Suhail, we'll say, okay, Sandy. And now refresh the page. And as you can see now that everywhere it is Sandy now. It is Sandy here, and Sandy here. So this is the benefit of creating the variables. It's always easier for us to code the application, to save our time, and it also saves us from typing hundreds of lines of code again and again. All we can do is we can save those hundreds of lines in a variable, and we can then acquire those variables in different places. So this is it. This is how the PHP code works, and I hope that you understand it. If you still have some problems, don't worry. I'll cover all the basic things in my future videos. I know that this time you might get confused in some of the things, in even how these tags are working. Do we have any other tags? What if we have the blank spaces here? We'll all cover that in the later videos. But for now, all you understand is that this is how we write PHP. We use the tags. We use the tags to create the PHP code, and then we can use those tags to print those PHP tags, and we will even have some of the complex things going on, such as we will have the conditions here, we'll have the loops here. But don't worry about it now. We'll all do this in the future videos. And so for now, let me go, and I'll come with a different video in the next time. So thank you, and bye-bye.